Hey, welcome to the channel. Today I'm about to check out TierZoo, the insect tier list. Last time we did horses. Did we do the? Nah, we did not do the horns one. I saw a couple. Did I? I saw a couple of videos I could check out, but I ain't check out. I said I was going to, but I forgot. I guess it's been a whole minute. But yeah. So, which do I want to be at the top of all the insects? I don't know. I just wanted to be the ants because of all insects, ants are the ones I mess with the most. Spiders, they're arachnids, so are they technically not insects, I guess. Um, Wasps, bees, this, that, the third, caterpillars. I'm not gonna go down that whole list, but I don't care what kind of species it is, as long as ants is top 10, top tier, we're good. So with that said, let's see what my boy Anthony, Antoine, Kent, I don't know, whatever, what tier, what level they reach with this insect tier list. This dropped like what, a month ago, 2 weeks ago, not sure where, but
Play of the game.
Jack Jumper Ants, okay?
Your power down.
Oh, whoa. Green Huntsman Spider, jeez. Hey, yo, man, man, that's my boy you just attacked.
My name is Shun.
Jeez.
Insects are one of the most broken factions the game has ever seen.
Yeah.
Nowhere else in nature will you find such an incredible concentration of abilities that are not only overpowered, but also extremely unique. It's tough
Bro,
to even
these
know where
things
to
move
start with.
quick. They said this, like I've seen one hunt a bird for some reason, bro. Praying mantis are like they scare the F out of me. I do not want to see it. I do not want to be near one. It's fucking hell, bro. It just, I don't know, look weird. Kung Fu Panda might have
Want to
traumatized
know what
me.
makes insects such a successful group? Because in a lot of cases, it's not
Ooh,
just that
Rhino
their
Beetles,
individual
right?
abilities are
Rhino Beetles.
overpowered, but some of them feel like they should be mutually exclusive, since they're just insanely OP when used in combination with one another. You'll see what I mean once I get into the tier list, but
Okay,
first,
I hope my dudes with the ants are at least B and above. Other than that, we solid. Cause S tier, I hope we just give my boy some
a
today.
brief overview of the insect faction's general attributes and history. Insects were added to the game during the early Carboniferous expansion. The devs bumped up the atmospheric oxygen level, which allowed members of the arthropod faction to adopt larger sizes and more costly abilities.
Okay.
And while most of the arthropod player base was trying to dominate the land by leveling up their size, a small offshoot of the crustacean player base opted to forego the gigantism trait, and instead used this oxygen bonus to unlock an ability never before seen
Smaller.
in game: flight. Because these new creatures
I
were
mean,
the very
fight,
first
yeah.
to gain the ability to fly, the air became entirely their domain for the time being, and would remain that way until reptiles unlocked the ability several expansions later.
Okay, like them
Insects
bird
are
and then
extremely
evolved into birds and that.
diverse in their abilities and stat spreads. In fact, they're so diverse that it's impossible to include them all in a single video. I'll be keeping things fairly generalized, but truth be told, many of the groups I'll be discussing today have so many standout members that they could easily be an entire tier list in and of themselves.
True.
So it's a little tough to pin down their general attributes, but there are a few commonalities.
Okay, so if it comes to ants, it's just gonna be ants. So, bro, wow, bro, I have a feeling they're gonna be down there in the tier, bro. But we are not the number one, but like we top tier when it comes to jumping insects, bro. Like bees, wasps, hornets. I guess they're good at jumping niggas, but not. I don't think. Bro, but they can fly though, so they good at. Long story short, I just want ants. I've seen some scary jumping moments when it comes to ants. I'll just say
Being
that.
members of the arthropod faction, all insects are granted the
Oh
exoskeletal
yeah, and
armor
y'all also had those bro. If a roach can fly, it's broken. I don't care what y'all say.
perk, which greatly raises their AC compared to soft-bodied builds of similar sizes, with the only downside being a massive reduction in those same defensive stats for a short time every time the player levels up. This makes insects quite tanky on average, allowing them to excel in combat. The insect build also has access to the Compound Eyes perk, which grants them vastly improved awareness compared to other arthropods like scorpions and centipedes. With
That's a
360-degree
dragonfly,
vision,
right?
Their ability to avoid obstacles, dodge attacks, and pursue targets while flying is far superior to most other flyers.
Woo!
This enhanced perception perk is important because insects tend to have naturally high stealth. So in order to compete with other insect builds, acute vision is required. We've only just scratched the surface of the insane abilities insects have access to, though. For a more in-depth look, let's get into the tier list.
Silverfish.
At the bottom of the tier list, we have the silverfish.
Oh, so this is a silverfish. Cause back when, I don't know when was the last time I played it, but like Minecraft, I would see silverfish and I would think it's just, I don't know, a game original type of thing. But it's actually legit big. I mean, but in the game, it's just huge as F. It was annoying as fuck, but I get silverfish. Damn, like, they couldn't put roaches, just straight to silverfish.
The silverfish is the most primitive insect build still in existence. It kind of blurs the line between what is and is not considered an insect, and not in a good way. Unlike other flightless insects, which decided to respec and drop the flight ability in favor of more refined strategies, the silverfish build actually never had access to it in the first place. Aside from having an exoskeleton, they don't really have any of the abilities that make insects powerful. They do not have wings and have essentially no combat abilities. They have fairly low defenses and get bodied left and right by pretty much everything, with their only useful stat being their decent movement speed. Their special ability allows them to gain XP from eating cellulose and lignin, meaning they can farm XP from wooden structures, which normally don't grant any experience.
Okay.
This ability would be fairly powerful in forest biomes, but because they're such weak combatants, they tend to actually stick to urban
bro, that frog. Bro, something in me, something is telling me go away from that. I do not want to be near that. I didn't even know that these type of skins. I didn't know that these frogs unlock these kind of skins. Jeez.
Feeding on things like paper and cloth in the relative safety of houses, apartments, and office spaces. Even there, they aren't completely safe though. And while no build is ever truly safe in the insect meta, the silverfish's extreme lack of useful abilities places it firmly in F tier. That's honestly the only insect build I believe deserves an F tier ranking.
Damn.
Most insects are quite viable, and even the less viable ones tend to have at least a few useful things going for them.
Okay.
Even if those things aren't necessarily broken. First
Walking
in D tier, we
stick ain't A Bug's Life, right? A Bug's Life, that dude. Okay, Walking Stick. I do not really see you that much. I'm not even looking for you, but I think I've only seen it once or twice in my lifetime so far.
Plasmid build, which includes walking sticks and leaf mimics. These builds sport what are unquestionably some of the most impressive camouflage abilities in the entire game. Second only to color-changing builds.
This dude maxed out his stats on stealth fully. Mobility, trash. Defense, I guess it's a little... trash. He just maxed it all out on strength.
Like the octopus and chameleon. As impressive as these are, though, the question I constantly end up asking is this really necessary? Because with the exception of insects which deliberately lower their stealth as part of the aposematic coloration strategy, insects as a whole already have an above-average stealth.
Yeah.
They're usually able to maintain this while still
insect abilities, hold up.
into other equally impressive abilities.
Bro, they got stealth, acidic projectiles. Okay, this is just all of them overall, okay? Whew. You sociality? Damn, bro. I don't even know. Parasitism, flight, venomous things, compound eyes, exoskeletal armor, fair play, back to you. Okay, you. Sociality. Look, like ants and them.
Their camouflage can only take them so far. While they're near undetectable while remaining motionless, walking sticks still need to move to find food. And while they do mimic the movement of a swaying leaf...
Wait, don't they eat like leaves and that? Because if that's the case, they're already good. But if not... What the F?
This certainly isn't perfect. In fact, if they're ever caught in an environment where camouflage doesn't match as well, their instincts to sway and move can actually end up giving their position away even more, rather than aiding in their attempts to hide.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, what? Why are they moving? My bad, I was not paying attention.
And while they do mimic the movement of a swaying leaf or branch, this certainly isn't perfect. In fact, if they're ever caught in an environment where camouflage doesn't match as well, their instincts to sway and move can actually end up giving their position away even more.
You're dumb, bro. You're not even on the tree or on the place for camo, bro. You just surviving, man.
hide.
You got, I like that achievement you guys did, bro.
Some phasmids
like
do
that.
possess chemical defenses, but as we'll see further up the tier list, this attack is quite mild compared to the heat some other insects are packing.
You're just annoying.
Phasmids have a similar game plan to sloths, complete with all the major flaws this strategy is riddled with. Although at least phasmids don't completely forego all common sense and make a dangerous trek to the forest floor once a week just to poop. Next in D tier, we have the Lepidopterans, the faction which includes moths, butterflies, and skippers. At first glance, these may seem like absolute bottom tier builds. They're among the most vulnerable builds in the game when it comes to combat, with extremely squishy defensive stats and utterly abysmal offensive abilities. Many of the larval forms of these builds are 100% defenseless and have a mobility stat in the single digits, literally the freest kills in the game. However, Lepid player base is quite crafty and has come up with a few ways of at least sort of mitigating their many weaknesses. Caterpillars and adult lepids alike can adopt quite convincing disguises, some designed to help them blend in, and some designed to intimidate. Granted, these strategies often don't hold up against high intelligence builds, but it does help. Some caterpillars spec into quite potent defenses, like spines and toxins, which make them simply not worth.
Bro, these things. I've seen these things, bro. I saw it. Well, how old was I? Was I not this one exactly? Think about it was white. I saw that. How old was I? 6? I was young, bro. I saw this ish on a tree. I fell off that tree because of this thing. And I kept running because that did not look normal. It did not look like a normal worm. It just seemed hairier than usual. I was intrigued by it. They said, "Hey, yo, watch out. Look at it." Sad.
Potential damage to take on. And credit where credit is due, even though they still are fairly defenseless, butterflies and moths do have excellent mobility and can fly much greater distances than most insect builds. This enables them to avoid high conflict areas of the map and reach higher quality loot that might be too rare for most players to rely on.
Where did I see this? Where is this from? That whole search ish. It's you loot. You have to loot this. Where is this from? You can open. I forgot. Where did I see
massive
the last?
wings, in addition to being highly customizable for a variety of stealth or intimidation purposes, also just make them look much larger than insects of comparable body sizes, which helps dissuade attacks. But ultimately, lepids still take plenty of L's, and most high-tier insect builds have quite oppressive matchups against them. So they're definitely a below-average faction.
Damn.
That's actually it for D tier, and I know it might seem like we're moving up the tier list quickly, but again, insects are a massively successful faction, and are going to be concentrated in the higher tiers. At the bottom of C tier, we have the cockroach. The cockroach is the ultimate survivor, which opted to spec into
why I'm surprised it's this low. If bro, decapitated, it's still alive until it starves to death. Intellect, oof. I can see why. Power, yes. Defenses, I put defenses a little higher. Mobility, there are those that could fly, so I guess 80 is respectable. Health, I wanna put that a little higher because I saw that once you decapitate it, it can still keep going until it dies out. So I'd more or less max it out personally. And stealth, I guess respectable.
Stealth and a multitude of elemental resistances in lieu of any offensive abilities. While they don't pack much heat, their flat shape allows them to easily wedge themselves into locations that are extremely difficult for other players to attack them in. They're rather clumsy flyers, but they do have an above-average ground movement speed, enabling them to quickly scurry to cover if they see a predator player approaching. However, when caught out in the open or backed into a corner, they're fairly helpless and easily one of the most vulnerable builds in the entire insect faction. They're also somewhat carried by human mains, making temperate and tundra servers viable for them, because really, as impressive as their toxin and radiation resistance abilities are, they're quite vulnerable to the cold, and would still be mostly confined to jungle servers, if not for humans unlocking the fire control ability. The biggest variants may be able to tank 1 or 2 hits, but even then, with no way to fight back, They're still pretty
They're
screwed
done,
if they fail to
GGs.
outright escape a fight. Next in C tier we have
What?
the Earwig, a fearsome-looking generalist build, which appears to have a giant pair of mandibles on
I
its
thought that was a centipede earwig, dude. Nah, I'm just tripping.
rear end, called Circe. As fearsome as these Circe forceps are, if we actually check the Earwig's base stats, we quickly notice that, just like all of its other stats, its power stat is actually quite mediocre. As menacing as the Circe are, the actual piercing damage they can deal is fairly minimal, and can even be deflected by the most basic of armor.
Damn.
And even against builds without armor, the damage is so low that larger builds still don't really need to be wary of approaching an Earwig, and can attack without restraint. Still, just because they can doesn't mean they do, as the Earwig's intimidation factor alone is oftentimes enough to protect it from conflict. And credit where
See what
credit
I'm
is
saying?
due.
That was just one ant, but if there was 2 or 3 of them, they would have easily taken out this mistake of an
The
ant.
forceps are actually
wannabe.
fairly decent in matchups against soft-bodied
ant
insects,
wannabe,
and allow
I
the
don't know.
Earwig to carry their targets much better than they could with their jaws. And while it may seem silly to have opted for rear-facing weapons instead of the more typical forward-facing ones, like mandibles and rostrums, the position does actually serve a purpose, in that it allows Earwigs far greater access to burrows and tight spaces, where they can hide out and avoid conflict altogether.
Okay.
Of all of the weapons insects have access to, Circe might be some of the most unorthodox, which probably contributes to its ability to intimidate other players.
Damn.
However, I think to get out of mid-tier,
They were
Earwigs
eating
need
that
to
dude.
actually have the ability to back up their threat display. They would do well to spec into some sort of venom. Venom-infused stings are a fairly common attribute for insects, so this feels like a bit of a missed opportunity. So, while certainly a viable mid-tier, don't overestimate this build's abilities. At the top of C tier, we've got the Orthopterans, including
We're in. We're in. We're in. Okay? Now that, okay, like I'm talking about ants. Ants, guaranteed we're in. Okay? So now I'm hoping for high A tier. High A tier, lower S tier. We're good. Nah, if that, bro. I'm shooting for the stars, bro. S tier, bro. I hope we're at least S tier there, bro. Because we stay jumping, fellas, bro. Let's go.
grasshoppers, crickets, and katydids. These are the first mobility-centric builds on our list. While they're quite capable flyers, their true power comes from their saltatorial hind legs rather than their
Made it.
wings.
Okay?
Flight is an excellent defensive ability, as it allows the user to get out of reach of an attack's range. But this utility is lessened if their ability to get airborne has too much startup lag. And so instead of using
Y'all
their
just
wings to get themselves up into the
jump.
air, a powerful jump enables the Orthopteran mains to escape vertically at instant speed. Their excellent vision makes it extremely difficult to get within striking range without alerting them. And because their jump has such excellent frame data, landing an ambush strike on an Orthopteran can feel near impossible at times. And even if
He saw you there. He saw you there, waited, tested you, and said, bro, try it. Let's see if you're going to land this shot. And bro, you had one job and you
to get
effed
within
that up. That
striking
was
range
your,
without alerting them. And because their
that was his dinner. Your dinner waited for you to strike for it to jump it. That's disrespectful.
jump has such excellent
That's
frame
disrespectful.
data, landing an ambush strike on an Orthopteran can feel near impossible at times. And even if a player does manage to secure a grab, their powerful hind legs can function as quite an effective combo breaker. The spines on their legs augments
Damn,
the
bro.
damage their kicks can deal, meaning that if a grasshopper can tank the first few hits of an ambush attack, they may be able to turn the tide of a confrontation and escape after dealing serious damage to the attacker.
Ooh.
With that said, I think there are a few flaws in their strategy, which I think keeps them out of the upper tiers.
Like what?
Grasshoppers can jump so far that there's really no way of knowing what sort of situation they're about to put themselves in. In a similar manner to the flying fish, using such a drastic escape option can sometimes end up putting you in a worse position than you.
Bro, really threw himself to the situation. Lord.
That there's really no way of knowing what sort of situation they're about to put themselves in. In a similar manner to the flying fish, using such a drastic escape option can sometimes end up putting you in a worse position than you were before. Especially if your local meta has a lot of spider players. And although they do present a challenge, most predator players aren't disrupted by the grasshopper's kicks, and can either tank the damage outright or one-hit the grasshopper before it even has a chance to
he
retaliate.
nullified that jump.
At the bottom of B tier, we have the Hemipterans, a diverse order of insects, with a few
What
things
true
in common to hit the
bugs?
grasshopper before it even has a chance to retaliate.
Let me guess, it's a race supremacist. It thinks it's the true bugs. Oh my lord. I answered. Bro, even the bugs have a race supremacist. Sheesh!
At the bottom of B tier, we have the Hemipterans, a diverse order of insects with a few things in common, including generally having high defense and being somewhat shield-shaped. However, the most notable thing is that rather than slicing or pinching mouth parts, the Hemiptera build opts for a piercing rostrum, perfect for puncturing through tough surfaces. For the majority of Hemipteran builds, this allows them to farm XP from sources that are normally hard to access, like the energy-dense sap inside trees and stems, or the starch inside of seeds. However, there are some Hemipterans which use their sharp rostrum to deliver a venomous bite that is able to pierce through armored targets. Their venom is powerful enough to one-shot just about any other insect, and can even deal severe damage to larger builds. The only major
that took a
shortcoming
lot of
here
health.
is that these so-called assassin bugs tend to actually have fairly low stealth, opting for the aposematic intimidation defense I mentioned earlier. And on top of all that, they have fairly low mobility, making actually ambushing another player kind of difficult if they're actually paying enough attention to simply dodge the attacks and flee.
Ooh.
Some do break this trend though, and opt for both better camouflage and high aquatic mobility, making them some of the most fearsome aquatic builds in the game. On the herbivore side of things, Hemipterans tend to fare a bit worse. They usually still have fairly low mobility and low stealth, and their defenses may be higher than the average, but are nowhere near as impenetrable as some of the builds higher on this list.
Okay.
They tend to rely on a chemical defense similar to some phasmids, which is where they get the name stink bugs from.
Oh, so that's the stink bug. True bug, stink bug. I've seen a lot of these motherfuckers. Okay, so yeah, I've seen this. A lot in 2017 when I was in different location. I'll just say that. Yeah, if those stink bugs, these are nasty. These are fucking nasty.
To phasmids, these defenses also tend to be a bit lacking and often fail to deter attackers.
You got snubbed.
So certainly a group with some standout members and fine for XP farming, but still nothing too broken.
Okay.
And topping off B tier, we have the Neuroptera, a rather clumsy build with some pretty pathetic looking base.
You maxed out on stealth? I'd have to see this thing carefully. Man, you really gave all your skill points to stealth. Alright, man.
Stats. Genuinely one of the least agile flyers in the entire game. However, looking at the final form of this build paints a highly misleading picture of its capabilities. The larval form, which is the form they spend the vast majority of their time as, is a brutally effective predator build for any player who prefers the camping playstyle. Taking a look at the larva's stats, we see that they have incredibly high power and stealth for their size. Antlions have a devastating venomous bite who prefers the camping playstyle.
Okay, proceed.
Taking a look at the...
Okay. So, sacrificed defense for stealth. Vice versa. Power still there. Mobility heavily reduced as well as you have. But increased your health in the process. Intellect still remains. And it kind of weird that the stealth is less there than it is up there. But I guess it comes with the camouflage.
Larva's stats, we see that they have incredibly high power and stealth for their size. Antlions have a devastating venomous bite, which they use to one-shot unsuspecting players before draining all of their life points with their hollow jaws.
Damn!
Because of their ability to construct pitfall traps, their passive stealth rating is extremely high, making their ambush playstyle unbelievably effective. As if escape wasn't hard enough, once the prey gets caught in their trap, the antlion even has the ability to launch projectiles to stun its target, making escape a near impossibility. I have an entire video.
Oh, nah, bro, that nigga gotta go. After getting me to witness that, bro, this is why ants can't go alone, because of situations like this.
The overpowered abilities of Neuropteran larvae. But in short, they are what the Earwig pretends to be. If you took the Earwig Circe, put them in front, and made them sharper and gave them deadly venom to boot, you'd have an antlion. So why the weak adult form? Having spent all of their evolution points optimizing their larval form, they spend hardly any time at all as adults. They don't even have the ability to eat in this form, and really only exist to be a vessel that allows players to find each other and complete the mating questline, something they lack the ability to do in their much less mobile larval form. So while I do think it'd be more impressive if they didn't take such a massive cut to their power level during their final level up, there's no denying that
they're made to again die. This is the epitome of smash and pass. Smash and time for me to pass on. That's tapped, bro.
for the vast majority of their playtime, these builds are an absolute menace to encounter. At the bottom of A tier, we have a personal favorite of mine, the Mantis.
It's a cool insect, but I don't want to see it I don't want it in my sight. That's all I'm gonna say. I love watching its matchups, its fights. If y'all want me to check out insect fights or animal fights, let me know. But this dude, bro, I just did not want to see it around.
Mantises have a fairly straightforward playstyle, consisting of slashing and grabbing their targets using powerful spiked raptorial forelimbs.
Slow motion.
If we take a look at the Mantis' stats, we see that the Mantis has one of the highest base power stats of any non-venomous insect. It also has a stealth stat similar to that of a walking stick, which it desperately needs in order to be able to get within striking range of its targets. Its clumsy flight and slow ground movement speed makes chasing prey basically impossible. However, what they lack in movement speed, they easily make up for with strike speed. The Mantis' strike is lightning quick, to the point that it's easily able to hit targets that are normally considered hopelessly evasive. As powerful as these strikes are, one weakness of the strategy is that the grappling attack doesn't immobilize the target, and actually brings them within range of a counterattack. And while the Mantis' large size enables it to tank most counterattacks, attacking a venomous target can end up being a serious blunder for a Mantis player. So definitely a powerful high-tier predator, but not one that's so invincible that Mantis mains can get careless.
I just bodied one right now. Still feel good about it. Ooh, bro, he tried it, bro. He tried it. To be fair, in his version of Elden Ring, that was just level 1. He tried it, but hey, we gotta respect the
plays.
plays.
We have the flies. This does get a bit confusing due to the amount of other builds that use the word fly in their name.
Mosquito?
But this group, the true flies, are defined by a very specific
definitely
feature.
S-tier.
True flies only have 2 wings. This might seem like a major trade-off, but while it does leave them more vulnerable to having their flight ability disabled from taking damage, the perk they unlocked in return is more than worth the risk. Instead of a second pair of wings, flies swap them out for halteres, a sensory structure that grants flies an insanely powerful buff to their aerial maneuverability and their evasion. Their superior aerobatics make them all but impossible to land a hit on midair, and also enables predator fly variants, such as the robber fly, to launch incredibly precise attacks mid-flight, and take down targets that would normally be too powerful to confront head-on, but are unable to effectively counterattack during flight. However, most flies are either scavengers or parasites, using their quick mobility and superior reaction speed to weave past the defenses and avoid the sweeping counterattacks of larger players. While they do have an extremely short lifespan, there's no denying that they make the most of the time they do have, and are one of the most efficient and evasive builds in the entire game. But while flies are excellent aerial combatants, they are no match for the ultimate aerial hunter build.
Woo!
The dragonfly is
This was my favorite insect as a kid. Just seeing a dragon and a fly fused. Well, I like more of the dragon side, and it's been a while since I've seen this. Now I think
to the
about
crocodile, in that it is one of the most well-optimized PvP builds that has ever existed in the game. It's already such an efficient build that across several balance patches and game expansions, the Dragonfly has seen very few changes to its core strategy. They simply aren't necessary, as the Dragonfly is already equipped to deal with just about anything the devs throw at it. So what is it about the Dragonfly that has given it such a competitive edge? Dragonflies have the best aerial maneuverability of any build in the game, and the highest top flight speed of any insect. Unlike most insects, dragonflies have spec'd into the ability to move their wings independently of each other, which grants them the ability to move in any direction without needing to turn and face that direction.
And being in place.
That can strafe mid-flight and even fly backwards. This ability makes their flight more energetically demanding than it is for other insects. So this is a high commitment, high reward playstyle. In order to ensure a proper payoff for their incredible agility, dragonflies have also spec'd into what is arguably the best vision of any arthropod. extremely large, high-resolution eyes that take up basically their entire head, granting them
they living in 8K.
full
Okay.
360-degree vision. This allows them to track all potential targets around them with ease, and allows them to see attacks coming long before they're actually at risk of getting hit. Unlike many of the other builds on this list, which either have a powerful larval form but a weak adult form, or a powerful adult form that can only achieve this after enduring an extremely vulnerable early game, the Dragonfly is a high-tier predator in both forms. While everyone knows they dominate the skies when they reach their max level, what you might not know is that as nymphs, Dragonflies are one of the most vicious aquatic builds in the game, able to one-shot similarly sized fish and amphibian players. Now, while it was tempting to put Dragonflies in
So these dudes are bred from the water and realize that they're actually born to fly. Or I'm just misinterpreting what I said. I don't think I'm gonna go back because it's a long ass video and I gotta go through a lot of them. But wow, that's low-key kind of interesting, and it's called a dragon fly. Fire, not water. It's kind of fire on the low.
tier, they do have a few shortcomings. While they are generally able to see approaching predators,
Nah, but then I did see that grub-looking. Maybe there's different types. There's different types. I'll just
they
agree.
aren't
I'll just say
particularly
that.
good at
Land
avoiding
and sea.
accidentally flying into dangerous situations. They're easily trapped by spiderwebs and are often snatched out of the air when flying too close to another player. In addition, Dragonflies cannot walk, meaning that their energy-expensive flight ability is their only option if they need to reposition themselves.
Yo,
Not that
he was
devastating of a
dragging.
weakness, but it's enough that they...
We're in. Okay, but first and foremost, he was dragging that nigga, bro. But ants, we're in. Okay, I hope we're upper two.
ancient build can't quite break into S tier. First in S tier, we have the Beetle. The Beetle is the epitome of the insect build. A bunch of extraordinarily powerful
Tank.
abilities that seem like they shouldn't really function properly when used in conjunction with each other, yet somehow actually end up synergizing unbelievably well. Beetles are the premier tanks of the insect faction, with an outer cuticle sturdy enough to deflect just about any attack with ease. It has such a high AC that it can confidently plow through a swarm of aggressive ants without taking any damage,
Lucky
something that
motherfucker,
even
man.
many reptiles and amphibians can't get away with. Now, typically when a build is heavily invested into defenses like this, it has to make a lot of sacrifices in its other stats.
Mobility, but it can
This
fly.
is the opposite of what we see in the Beetle build, as in addition to being the most heavily armored insect in the game, it also excels in several other metrics. The most obvious of which is its power stat. Beetles can obliterate their enemies in combat using powerful jaws and explosive chemical weapons. Their ability to bulldoze opponents with their forward-facing weaponry is hard to overstate, but in my opinion, their real damage potential comes from Beetles which possess the ability to blast their attackers with a toxic or acidic chemical burst.
Pause.
But that's not where the craziness stops, because although you'd probably expect a high-power tank to be a slow, lumbering build,
He can't
Beetles
fly,
also
bro.
possess the top terrestrial movement speed of any insect. And if that weren't enough, despite often having heavy horns or giant mandibles, packing a tank full of noxious chemicals, being clad in heavy armor, and strapped with enough muscle to move objects far, far above their weight class, the Beetle is still able to fly without much issue. Now, they did sacrifice one of their sets of wings for additional armor, so they can't perform the advanced aerobatics that dragonflies and houseflies can. But the ability to get from point A to point B via flight is still extremely valuable, both for escaping danger and for reaching valuable
Bro,
points of
I
interest.
don't know why, bro. When I saw that, I could visually picture it flying towards me. That's why bro, I can see things and feel things that I shouldn't be. I don't know. It's just, I just saw, nasty.
In short, Beetles have essentially every ability they could ask for. They are an amalgamation of everything that makes the insect faction so powerful, and so it's no surprise that Beetle species comprise a whopping 25% of all species in the game. They're so versatile and adaptable that a Beetle player can find a niche in essentially any server.
Okay.
They truly are the ultimate insect and deserve a tier list of their own. As incredible
Scorpion
as
ain't
this
got
combination
shit
of
on
powerful
you.
abilities is, ultimately the
Nah.
Beetle is still lacking
Nah.
the most powerful
Nah,
insect
don't do
ability
this
of
to
them
him.
all, eusociality. Now, I have an entire video
mama,
dedicated
they
to
say-
explaining abilities is,
Eusocial.
ultimately the Beetle is still lacking the most powerful insect ability of them all, eusociality.
I killed it. Eusociality. What did I say? I don't know what I said, but I have a feeling I killed it.
Now, I have an entire video dedicated to explaining just how broken this ability is, and there's no question that the insects that incorporate it into their game plan simply dominate all in their path.
Okay, no, this is good. This is still good. This is still good. That means there's a good chance that the ants are still up there. Termites, these are some woodchucks. You know how many chucking a woodchuck? Chuck, nigga, go yourself. Get out of here. Okay, so we're still safe. Which hasn't been accounted for. I guess bees, but it was still counted in for flies, or that was just the wings. Bees, wasps, spiders, like I said, we don't count them. So if they throw in ants with these dudes, I can take it, but I don't like the fact that they're referring to them as termites. So hopefully it's ants or whatever, or I just don't know my insects that well.
Now, technically, termites are a variant of the cockroach build, but they have such a unique and
Cockroach build, that means, bro, that means we got this.
powerful playstyle that lumping them in with mid-tier cockroaches seems disingenuous. The termite queen is the longest-lived insect in the game, with a lifespan near that of a human or elephant, and it spends these many decades building one of the most powerful armies the game has ever seen. These termite armies are able to construct some of the most well-fortified bases in the game,
Yeah, true.
giving even beaver dams and human skyscrapers a run for their money. Not only do they build incredible bases, but termites literally transform the map in order to better optimize their colony's ability to gather resources. They will pave paths and build ramps and bridges to important resource deposits. This efficiency allows them to support a huge army and command vast territories. Termites, despite being most closely related to cockroaches, have a combat style that is actually most similar to the spitting cobra, which, if you've seen my snake tier list, you'd know is also a top tier build. Termites can accurately fire acid from a needle-like horn on their face, dealing heavy damage to anything caught in its blast. Some termites opt for giant slicing jaws instead of acid sprayers on.
These are the ops. We don't mess with the. You saw what they did to little Jimmy just now, bro. They jumped. Wait till Jimmy spin the block with the gang.
Their head.
Just
and
say,
are
just
crucial for
say. It's gonna be a
defending
different
their base from an
story.
onslaught of invaders. Termites
Oh,
are
he
somewhat
spawned the block with the gang and fucked up. Jimmy.
imbalanced build, with crazy powerful forward-facing weaponry, but extremely vulnerable abdomens with no armor at all. This means that oftentimes, despite a larger size, they're quickly overwhelmed if they get outnumbered.
Yeah, where was all that energy now? Oh, forget out, bro. Jimmy actually succeeded, but unfortunately he caught the stray right
An issue, as
before the
termites
clip.
are proficient at defending in a phalanx formation,
Okay,
which covers
okay.
the weak points of individual members. So certainly not a bad enough weakness to negate the top tier status of eusociality. But this weakness does mean that
Let's
I gotta
go.
give
Okay,
the
bro. Okay, they had they had silverfish at the bottom, butterflies at D, walking stick at D. C, we had grasshoppers, wannabe ants, and a cockroach. At B, we had something that is BS. We had BS at B. For A, we had dragonflies. We had flies. We had prey mantis. For A, we had beetles, termites, and I'm telling you, bro, S tier, top S tier, bro. It's gotta be ants. I told y'all my life story with ants. I sacrificed a lot of bugs and food to ants. So if it's not S tier, I don't know what the hell could be.
top spot to the other eusocial insect faction.
Yep. Whoa. I was about to be excited and happy as ants. Why you gotta? That's crazy. I listed out all the ones that haven't been called out, and now they're giving us a shared award. Get these niggas out of here. And I did say at the beginning that these dudes can jump niggas as well, cause they're top tier jumpers as well. But we jump them in land, they jump in the sky, and I even had a thing about it. But I still stuck with the ants. Why are they making us share this award? Okay, y'all make honey. Y'all are just on demon time. But we are coordinate. We are proficient when it comes to our work and our craft. Oh my.
Hemiptera is the group of insects that include
I fed niggas to you. Okay, I didn't want to get near a wasp and bees, but I know a couple people that sacrificed it to the ants as well.
ants, bees, and wasps.
I sacrificed a spider.
Unlike termites, these insects are a bit more well-rounded.
Fly, okay, shit. Ooh, whoa. They got a lot. They take people personally. Yeah, okay, yeah, that ant. Yeah, I've seen an ant just yeet, like just snatch someone from the and drag them down. So fair play.
Having decent armor all over, and tend to have both
Okay,
forward and
focusing on
rear-facing
bees now.
weaponry,
Nah,
with most
all of
Hemipterans
us.
packing strong jaws and a venomous stinger. The wasp's signature buzz and yellow banding are so infamous that almost every other insect faction in the game has at least a few members trying to replicate it to gain advantage on their own intimidation checks. Eusocial Hemipterans can build
Nice.
extremely complicated structures without the use of tools. They can launch organized attacks containing thousands of combatants. They can capture prisoners, cross major barriers, and control territory to an absolutely incredible degree.
See what I'm saying? We can actually survive in water. We can make a ball and float our way to the other side. Y'all are just drowning, you know?
Thousands of players will lay down their lives in defense of a colony if need be. Ants in particular
Respect.
are masters of both empire building and military tactics, often having to wage war on multiple fronts while undertaking
don't
large
care.
construction and agricultural projects in their own territory. So, while beetles may take up a larger percentage of total insect variants, termites and ants both vastly outnumber any other insect build. And while I don't base my
If
tier
the
lists
ops bug,
purely
whatever.
off of population, there's no denying that the abundance of these insects is due to their incredibly powerful strategies and their ability to bend their environment to their advantage. In fact, the only genuine threats to you social players tend to be invaders disguising themselves as members of their own colony, but are really there to disrupt, steal, and attack. Many
See what I'm
spider,
saying? See what I'm saying? Even the spider would like to be like us.
Hemiptera, and mantis mains adopt the strategy, and are incredibly successful in doing so. As the ant troops forage and browse unknown territory, the parasites weave their way into their ranks. Something similar happens when you browse the internet without using NordVPN, the sponsor
What the?
of today's video. As you
I
browse,
forget
track
that this dude know how to finesse. What is this? What's this?
It was top over there.
It's for who?
It's top brown in the colors.
Thank you.
It's for the kitchen.
Okay, go put it in the kitchen. This kid makes ice cream cones and cereal. Alright, bro, alright. So like I was saying, man, I'm grateful that the ants reached S tier like I predicted, like I wanted it, like I wished it, but unfortunately we had to share it with with the wasps and the bees. God damn, bro, we worked so hard for that. Even niggas wanna be like us just to feel safe and protected. Imagine that. Flies imitating wasps. Spiders imitating ants. All this effort just for you to feel safe. Like, why are you doing that in the first place? Why are you doing that to start with? But golly, man, but I like the fact that this dude knows how to finesse ads into his videos. So, but unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, luckily we were saved by the break or saved by the bell. But yeah, dude showed up with nothing but bullish in his hands, holding ice cream cones and cereal, talking about his. What the fuck did he say? I was just shocked by the nature of what he had shown me. But yeah, man, with that said, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, share, subscribe. Please help me out. Let me know the whole dragonfish shit. I mean the dragonfly-ish. But yeah, hopefully your predictions came true as well. Whichever build is your favorite. I already told you I've been rocking with ants since day one. If you find other videos, I'm sure you'll also see me talking about ants. I forgot which one it was, but I have gone on a rant about that. So, with that said, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what your video check out, and I'm going to do so. But for now, I'm going to see you guys when I see you guys. So, see ya.